Hello everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology, and of course this is your weekly astrology. We're going to be going from May 28th to June 3rd, and June 3rd will be bringing us the Sagittarius full moon. So, well, that'll be like Saturday night, but anyway, I have that chart for you too, and let me swap out cameras here and bring you over my table, show you what I have. Hold on. Okay, so first I have to say that I am recording this video early. I'm going to be going, taking a little road trip to go to my youngest granddaughter's graduation and seeing the rest of the family. So I'm going to be on the road and traveling, during the week. So if something shocking happens, during this week, because I'm doing this reading on the 18th. I'll be leaving on the 20-something, I forget, 23rd, 24th or whatever. But this week goes from the 28th to June 3rd. And if something happens during this week, I'm not going to know, as of I don't know today, right? What could happen tomorrow politically. And but I keep feeling like something big is going to come through any minute, right? It feels like it. And with this week having the full moon come through on Saturday, it may very well be this week, and you'll see why when we get to the other charts. But I just wanted to preface this whole reading with saying that. But I will have all of the dailies, the daily tarot readings done ahead of time, and the funnies posted in the little community section, so hopefully you won't miss me too much. Anyway, okay, so one thing to focus in on here, starting off with Sunday. Well, I need to do the weekly overview first before we get to the moon, but Saturn here has been in this trine to the South Node, and I think I forgot to mention it last week. This has been going on since February 26th, this trine right here, and it will last all the way through to July 27th. But on July 17th, we're going to have a nodal change. The nodes go backwards, so they're going to go from Scorpio to Libra, and the North Node will go from Taurus to Aries at 29 degrees, of each sign. So, then we'll have about a year and a half to party down with those signs. So anyway, whenever there's this nodal axis change, it will change the flavor of what we're experiencing. So with the fact that Saturn's been sitting here, of course it was in Aquarius before it moved into Pisces, and that actually was happening in February. But anyway, the important thing to remember, though, is Saturn's been sitting here holding space for governmental leadership to get on board with what the people want, as well as for each of us individually to be able to clear up the past, right here with the South Node in Scorpio, and then, of course, move forward on our spiritual path. And Jupiter's there leading the way with the North Node, and that will later on in the week become exact as well. So that's actually really cool. So Saturn basically helps us to master areas of life, wherever it transits through in your chart, and wherever it came in your chart natally is really important because it will help you break through limitations. I mean, it is the taskmaster of limitations, but it helps us it helps us to learn what works and what doesn't, because it brings in form and structure. So whichever house Pisces, occupies in your natal birth chart, that's going to be where you're working the hardest to break free from outside authority and come from your inner authority. And this trine to the Scorpio South Node of the past is going to help you recall experiences you've had and use that wisdom to move forward, right? Within this, not that to stay back here is bad and to move forward is good. It's all about balancing out the polarities, right? But you're going to figure out which way is the best way for you. And remember, of course, with Taurus, it's always about self-preservation and safety and happiness and abundance and bliss and things that can help you really stabilize your life. And I'm sure that's what we're all working towards. And then the South Node of Scorpio can sometimes bring crisis, but we can work through those crisis points and bring through more of our real selves. And then from there, we're working within those dynamics of always grounding in and transforming. So I actually really love the polarity of Taurus and Scorpio myself. So let's see. And we're also, the other big thing to notice is that, of course, we're still in that tension field of this grand square, grand cross, I should say. 2 T-squares, right? We have a T-square up here from Pluto to the nodes. Jupiter's involved. And then Mars is opposing Pluto. Oh my goodness. And we have this, Venus will be involved in a while, Mars will move on. But for now, for a few days or through the end of the week, pretty much, we have the Mars moving energy more courageously in Leo, coming from the past and then moving forward to the future. But look at, these 2 squares here to Jupiter and the North Node. So we can't really move forward until we resolve the past. But we can, bit by bit, little by little, keep going deeper and resolve pieces and then move forward. And then it all balances out, right? It all integrates. So let's see, what else? Working within this tension field here, that's, we're going to be in this for quite some time, but if we're working with the energy, I think it's going to help us deepen our integrity and help us to have even more connection with our divinity. So Mars here will last through the 5th, which is in a couple of days through past the end of the week, but it won't be long until Venus steps up and helps us with our abundance and in our relationships. And remember, the tension field that we're in, these, with this grand fixed cross, fixed signs, they can help us. I mean, they're challenging at first, right? But they will help us bring in strength, just like you have the 4, pillars of the foundation of a house or a room or whatever you're building. That's just the way it is. So Pluto's up here squaring the nodes through December 7th, and that's, bringing in the power struggles with government. And but Eris is here as well, squaring up through Christmas Day. And she's going to help us find the courage to get our lives on track in whatever direction we want to go. She's just sitting there, stronger and longer lasting than Pluto. So don't forget about that. Let's see, what else? Neptune here in this sextile to Pluto. This lasts until October 22nd, and she's, I kind of not so sure whether to genderize planets, but probably not. But anyway, through October 22nd, we're going to have that nice flow of opportunity. Sextiles always bring in opportunity to create more grace and ease in our lives. And because of the trine down, coming down here to Venus, that further enhances that aspect, because we have the aspect of the architect being able to build something that creates more, a foundation that we can grow within. And my goodness, Cancer and Pisces energy, and then the South Node and Scorpio, all of that spells out, major ways to enhance your intuition, get into your psychic abilities, get on your path, all of that. So let's see, what else? Pluto might bring something to the light that we need to eliminate, But as we do that, we're going to be focusing more and more on our spiritual path, and that's always a good thing. We're going to be more open to abundance and focusing more on what matters to us with Jupiter here and Venus here in Cancer, Jupiter in Taurus and Venus in Cancer. And we're pretty, I'm thinking that we're feeling like we're digging our heels in, and we're pretty tenacious in that tension field with this, T-square to Mars and Pluto and Jupiter squaring. Pluto, my goodness. Now, Jupiter only squares Pluto through the 8th. So we just have this week and about 5 days beyond, like this week and the next. But it's really important to just always remember that Saturn and Jupiter are the builders of the zodiac. So with Saturn in Pisces, it's all things artistic and musically inclined and spiritual. And then, of course, Jupiter in Taurus brings in that grounding type of energy that can really hold space for our visions to manifest and experience. Jupiter is Jupiter and Sag and Scorpio too are very geared towards experience. So bringing in, when you ground in something, then you really get to experience what it's like. And if you don't like it, then you move on and you create something else. But anyway, so all this week we have Mars here in courageous Leo. And you can see this quincunx here, this green line to Saturn. Whenever we have a quincunx or an inconjunct, you might hear other astrologers call it, either way, inconjunct or quincunx, just that little green K, or sideways K, is basically a 150-degree aspect. Whenever we have that, we are going to need to make an adjustment. And with this one particularly, I feel that it has to do with opening our hearts. We're making adjustments as to who we open our hearts to and possibly who we do not. Mars in Leo can have us just say, okay, well, I want to be in the love state as much as possible, and I want to live in love as much as possible. So I'm going to make that choice to move on, right? If the past is repeating itself, because you want something much greater. So that's something that could be happening. But yeah, it's, with the universal forces holding space for all of us empaths to learn about healthy boundaries, and I'm saying that when I'm speaking to Saturn and Pisces now, we most likely this week will be setting them. So, we're going to have the energy to create what we want as long as we have those healthy boundaries in place. Rather than managing crisis or listening to others who blame their problems on others, which is just a waste of our energy. It's like, okay. With me, it's like, unless it's a client who's paying me and they're really stuck, but I'm still always going to encourage them in the right direction. When it comes to anyone else, I pretty much don't, I don't stick in those conversations for very long, especially if it's somebody who's just not moving on. So anyway, let's see what else. It kind of, it bodes well for gossiping type of energy too, like, to keep that as much out of your life as you can, because that can really suck you down. But one thing that's nice is with Venus here trining Neptune, and you can see it's part of that aspect of the architect going on. This is really nice for helping us or supporting us to wherever we're wanting to create more of what we love doing and who we want to have fun with. We have this aspect through June 8th, so this is nice. And remember, Venus is human love, and Neptune is spiritual love. So we've got a nice flow of, it's like you're hanging out with somebody and you can see, or you can sense, you can experience the divine within them, and it's just so flabbergasting to be in that energy and go, oh my goodness, this is such a spiritual essence coming through this human person, and you just love it. I know you've experienced it, so I know you understand what I'm saying. But when we're in that, we have those deeper spiritual connections, and they just carry us forward in life. And these are your friends, your tribe, that you pretty much will have with you forever, forever and always, right? Even when we all cross over, well, then there's no such there's no such thing as time, no time and space in those realms. So yeah, it's always that one eternal type of love. It's just all love, all bliss, all happiness. You can't even have a negative thought. So then also, we're still in the Sun trine Pluto. Well, it won't last much longer because, about a 6-degree orb. So, but just one more day, so all the way through the full day of today, Sunday. So we might still be seeing even more political corruption, coming to light. We might be learning more about, all that stuff that came out about Rudy Giuliani, and I'm sure there's going to be even more. So more and involving others, I'm sure. But anyway, so hopefully more indictments will come out. And like I said last week, this is going to keep intensifying over the next couple of weeks with Mercury, now that Mercury's gone direct. And because remember, Mercury went back this way, hooked up with the North Node. Now it's come forward back this way, but now it's going to hook up again with Uranus. So we're looking at shocks, learning about shocks, or learning something shocking, I should say. But for those of us who are working on our spiritual path, these two hooking up together is major divine mind type of connection. Getting those aha moments and going, whoa, okay, let's try that. But with the corrupt politicians and just corrupt officials, I'm feeling like we might have some shocking details maybe. And I say that because we've got this trine over here to the Virgo moon, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. But anyway, today and tomorrow, so Sunday and Monday, with the Sun sextile Mars right here, we're going to have an opportunity for this next couple of days to get more information. Sun in Gemini gathers information, and then we're going to have the courage, or more courage, to have, or to communicate, to have conversations from the heart, or to finally speak up for ourselves if we need to. But, when the Sun's in Gemini, it's always a good idea to follow your curiosity, as long as you're aligned with what is loving. And Mars in Leo certainly supports that. And then, like I was saying, the Virgo moon today, this is bringing the details to help us create more divine order. And it's coming off the exact trine from Mercury and then moving towards an exact trine to Uranus. So it makes for a really good morning to sit in meditation and do some automatic writing, or to get the info in any way it comes to you. But the moon is in that building trine here. See how the moon's at 16 and Uranus is at 20. So it's just within hours of being exact. The moon moves about, I think a half a degree an hour, somewhere in there. So later on in the day it'll be exact. So it's a really good day for being open to changes that bring in more freedom, if that's your intention, and to just get guidance, basically. Get guidance that can help you make those changes. Okay, so then Monday comes along, and you can see the moon here is at 29 degrees early in the morning, so 6 a.m. Pacific. The moon's at 29 degrees, which is that, last degree of each sign is 29 degrees, and it's called the anaretic degree, and it's known to be more intense. And it's opposing, depending on, who you are and how you work the energy, it's either delusional or spiritually sourced or delusional, Neptune. And you can see it would have been exact, early. So depending on how early you get up on Monday morning, you could be in the experience of an exact opposition. And the oppositions are always, there's a confrontation. So depending on who you are and how you've been managing your life, and because both Gemini and Virgo are ruled by Mercury, the messenger, we may have some interesting political news come out, or we may have some major spiritual breakthroughs. So if you've been struggling with anything and trying to figure out how to lovingly confront someone or get out of a terrible situation, or a situation that's just not very kind and loving and you want it to be different, this is the morning to have that guidance come through, or that movement, complete. And then you can see the moon here is also trining Pluto. So now I have to speak to the energy being there, because the moon can often illuminate. The sun does well. They're both luminaries. It's just the sun will really shine a spotlight, and the moon will go, because the moon rules the public, and it could be just, leaks and all types of information coming out from the public. Then, spotlight shining on it too. But when it comes to corrupted control freaks in the government, these are the ones that they're wanting to control, women's bodies and everything else. So, but also today Venus has moved into, you can see that red line right here, and see how Pluto's at 0 degrees. Venus is moving towards, when it's exact, it'll be 0 degrees Leo, but it's within that 6-degree orb. So Venus is within orb of, there's an applying opposition. So it's gathering strength. The women are gathering strength. And this lasts through the 11th. So I'm thinking that the divine feminine is facing off those who want to control our bodies, our health, our finances, and who we love and who we care about and who we, support, things like that. It's I could say so many things, and I'm just not going to. I'll leave you guys to comment that way, because I really love your comments. But anyway, I have a feeling that the GOP is going to be losing voters in droves. And, like I said, with the moon moving about a half a degree an hour, it's not going to take long at all before we're enjoying the Libra energy, those vibes all the way through Wednesday. And we're all wanting more equality, at the very least. So let's go ahead and move forward. The other, this one other aspect here is just a weaker one, so I'm not going to bother with it. Tuesday, especially to the moon, because the moon moves so quick. But Tuesday, you can see here the moon's at 11 degrees Libra. So now we're in that, wanting more equality and relationship and fairness, and we're talking about it, and we're going back and forth with it. But it's in an applying opposition to Chiron in Aries over here, and courageous Eris later in the day. That's going to happen. So today might bring up some emotional triggers. If you're feeling left out or rejected, you can be sure that's the past, coming up for healing. But with the trine to the sun here, just know that if you get really curious as to what it's really about and what's really true for you now, then you can heal anything. As long as you're not rejecting yourself, and as long as you're present with any passing emotional pain, then you're doing the deep work. And that's especially true because Mars, like I said, has been opposing Pluto. And that can certainly bring up any inner conflicts that we need to confront, most likely through the mirror of relationship. And that could be just your relationship with life, trying to move forward from your heart in life and then bumping up against maybe people that don't care as much, or they're not aligned with, what's good for each one of us is going to be good for humanity. If we're loving and kind to ourselves and others, that's always going to be good for humanity. But, with Pluto, we're always going to be bumping up against control issues with politicians and oligarchs, things like that. So, okay, so let's go ahead and move forward to Wednesday. And Wednesday, you can see the moon's here at 0 degrees Scorpio. And Mars has moved on a bit. And things should cool down quite a little bit. But because the moon is connected to the south node of the past, this might shine some light on ways to transform the old into the new. But it might also bring up some news about money and sex scandals, especially because the moon's hooked up with the grand fixed, square, fixed cross going on here. It's just like so intense. Yeah. So, yeah, because, we're in that, it's not just the control of Pluto here, it's the excess of Jupiter here. And I'm speaking to Jupiter in like the lower octave of especially trying to control money, trying to control abundance. And then we've got sex, because it's all, when we're in the realm of money and sex, we're in second chakra territory. And if things aren't clear there, if there's corruption, there's going to be guilt. And so if there's guilt, there's going to be the feeling that they don't deserve real love, so they just try to get it and grab it and take it, And, yeah, brings other things to mind, but I'm not going to talk about that. So just to know that these things are going to be coming up into the awareness of, mass consciousness. More and more people are going to start understanding those things. So yeah, Jupiter's excess and Scorpio's trying, and I'm speaking to those, Taurus and Scorpio in the lower octave of energy now. Scorpio's wanting to control, and Taurus is wanting to have. So basically, have control. So let's see what else. Yeah, the moon trine Saturn, again, there could be some illumination there as to government control, people who are not compassionate, people who are going to play the victim game and the blame game, that type of thing. And then, if you're Trump, you're just always going to try and grift off of others within that. It's a witch hunt. Send me $36, I'll send you this t-shirt, It's like, God, whatever. Okay, so I think I should move on. So Thursday morning, the moon's still in transformative Scorpio, and the dirty politicians are most likely gaslighting and blaming and further plotting as to how to blame Biden if there's a default on our debt payments, and that's because of the trine over here to Saturn. And, like I said, I'm recording this on May 18th, so if some resolution may happen before this video is even released, that's very possible. But if I recall the card readings I did in the past and that I've done, with Lisa and I on our live stream, I'm pretty sure that it looked like it would go like up to the 11th hour, but then it would be okay. Like things will work out, but they're going to push it to the 11th hour. You know, like we won't go into default, but there might not be a breakthrough until that last minute. So with the moon trine Saturn and Saturn sextile Jupiter here, that makes me feel like there's more orientation towards safety with Taurus. And again with the money, like you can see the money battles. But then there's this, because of this aspect of the architect, it has to work out. Like they have to open up. And I mean, it's just it. They're going to do everything they can to make Biden look like the bad guy. But Biden's not going to bend. Yeah, I don't think he's going to give up. I mean, he's a double Scorpio. Is he? Or he might be more than a. I think he might have 3 or 4 planets in Scorpio. So he's tougher than he looks. But let's see, what else? Yeah, so Jupiter, you know, hooked up here with the North Node and opposing the South Node, of course, right? Let's see, there's 3 degrees. We've got an exact, look at that, exact opposition going on. It's going to kick up some breakthroughs, you know, for healing that needs to heal. But, yeah, there's going to be all those confrontations along the way. It's basically, what do you really want? And what will you take a stand for, you know, whoever you are, like that type of a thing. And with the GOP, they just want to win. They just want to make the other guy look bad, and they just want to control. And they don't want to work for their money. This is their work. Their work is to just stir up crap and then not fix anything. Not fix a darn thing. So let's see, what else? Yeah, this, you can see how 3 degrees 31 minutes and 3 degrees 37 minutes, but the nodes go backwards. So this will be exact, I think, tomorrow. But this Jupiter opposing the South Node and all, you know, this conjunction at both ends, I know that's in effect until June 23rd, because I can remember it's like right around my birthday. So anyway, let's go ahead. Yeah, I think I can go ahead and move to Friday. Okay, because I'm so excited about that. The full moon coming up Saturday. Okay, so Friday, 8 a.m. I went to 8 a.m. so that we could see this exact grand water trine here. So it's approaching an exact water trine. The moon's at 21, Venus is at 27. So 8 a.m. it comes into orb. Neptune and Venus are both at 27 degrees. And then the Scorpio moon's at 21. So all day Friday is going to be an excellent day for bringing in more nurturing and more spiritual connection and transformative powers, which is, you know, that's why we're here. We're here to bring through, to remember who we really are in spirit, and to work through any ego material that needs to go. You know, basically who you think you need to be in order to have love and approval. Basically, we need to love ourselves and love ourselves through whatever we're having to go through. So that is on the table for all day Friday. And then Saturday, and you can see that's, you know, pretty much the only aspect this morning with the moon. And then Saturday we have the full moon. So 8:43 p.m. in Sag. And we might be experiencing the fullness of knowing our spiritual path, or at least that we need to get on it. And with the trine to Mars, the courage of conviction. to, as to basically how important it is, how important that is to be on your spiritual path. And because Sag is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter's in grounded Taurus over here, that's holding space for us to, it helps us to focus in a way that's meant to bring in more happiness than we've ever experienced before. And this full moon is really fiery, and it's trining Mars in Leo, so there's fire here, and then there's fire over here to Chiron in Aries. And that's a lot of energy that can be used spiritually. So wherever you have 13 degrees of Sag in your natal birth map, your natal birth chart, you can expect more fullness in that area of your life. So whatever house it's in will relate to an area of your life. Or if you have, let's say you have a Sag ascendant, then Jupiter rules your ascendant. You can also look to Jupiter and Taurus here to bring in more abundance. Yeah, really cool energy going on here. So sometimes, so the full moon tends to have the power of illuminating something to bring in more fullness, or we're actually experiencing more fullness. And then other times it helps to release something that we've been trying to let go of, whatever hasn't been working, basically. And for most of us, it could be both. But for the most part, to work spiritually is going to help us overcome duality and to come into unity consciousness, basically our inner unity with our higher selves. So remember, when we're trying to get out of duality, so what we need to remember with that, I'll just say this one little piece and then we'll be done. So duality is coming from either or consciousness. So either you're good or you're bad, either you're right or you're wrong, either you're a winner or a loser, or either, all these things that we struggle with. And it's not true, of course. Here on Earth, we have to accept that we do live on a plane of duality, but we're not dualistic beings. We're absolutely unitive beings in the core of who we truly are. So we come here to Earth, and it's confusing because it's so distorted compared to what, who we really are and what we're all about. And we go into this mistaken, we form all these misconceptions and these wrong conclusions about who we think we need to be in order to have pure positive pleasure while we're here. Because that's who we truly are. We're just these balls of, amazing energy balls of or orbs or whatever, cores of pure positive pleasure, which, like I said, means you can't even have a negative thought. So if you left your last lifetime thinking, oh, I'm so bad, I'm so wrong, at the moment you're dying, then you will set up the next incarnation for experiencing through your family, because they're the ones that mold your existence as a little one. You'll have experiences of a family who's very judgmental and makes you bad and wrong. Makes you feel like you're bad and wrong, and then your battle through your whole life until you turn it around, which can be done at a pretty young age if you work it, if you know how to work it. But it's basically to turn around that false belief. It might be something like, yeah, I can be bad and still be loved, or I can be wrong and still be loved. Maybe I'm not wrong, right? Maybe I'm not bad. What is bad? That all of those questions you can ask yourself. And anyway, if anyone needs help with that, I have many, many tools to work through that, to work out of that convoluted, vicious circle, I should say. And other than that, I'm just going to close this up and wish you the most beautiful Sagittarius full moon and wonderful week. Okay, you guys, take good care. Bye.